Okay, everybody should have received an evaluation video where I went over your first essay, and I just finished that up last night, so I apologize. I've gotten a little behind on the economics essay, and that's caused me to move everything a little bit back, but I want to get everybody started on this essay and moving in the right direction. What is extremely important about this essay is that you get the foundation of the essay right, and then everything else will follow along, okay? And the foundation is get one economic theory and one situation, and then it will move forward from there, okay? And all of your quotations will be from that theory. It will be either Adam Smith's theory or Karl Marx or Maynard Keynes. One of those theories will provide all of the evidence, the quotations that you're going to use for the theory, and you're going to apply it to one situation from The Economist magazine. And I've chosen about 5 articles from The Economist that you can use to apply your theory to. Okay, let me show you how that's going to work really fast. Let me shrink myself up. And oh my God, there's that naked guy again. And here we go. You stand over there, and let's go into the economics. And here it is. And here is where you're going to get the essay assignments, okay? And this is where I've posted the articles too, okay? And if you don't know, that is a portrait of Adam Smith, that's Karl Marx, and over here is Maynard Keynes, okay? And we are right now living in a Keynesian economic situation because they're trying to make sure deflation doesn't kick in. All right, so let's click on him and take a look at the page. And I just got this one finalized this morning. Here are the videos where I go through the draft process. Now, these were composed, I put these videos together last semester, but the essay assignment is essentially the same, okay? And I've moved the essay to be due next week to give you a little more time. But one thing I want to warn you about is make darn sure any days I mention in these videos, they are for last semester, okay? But the overall process is the same. The overall process is the same. And the big thing in the early draft is to get the article in the theory you're going to use. The articles that I'm talking about right here are not the old ones, the Cobalt and on the Congo and the other ones. Don't worry about those. Instead, what I've put together, because I want you applying your theory to a contemporary situation, at the bottom of the economics page are these articles from The Economist. Okay, one of them is about labor, and one of them is about, or I guess late delivery is about labor. Loading, please wait, that's about the microchip market. And culture clash, that's an issue in Hong Kong where they're getting used to some regulation of their markets. Okay. On the simmer is whether or not the economy is going to come back and what way it might, what way. That's about things that are in hold. And on to the Q, the Q to quit QE, that's dealing with quantitative easing, which if you don't know it, this is what the government is currently undertaking and undertook back in 2008 and following Keynesian economics to keep the economy from basically falling off a cliff. And I want to make something very clear starting this unit. Number one, I do not want to get into any political debates because what you're going to find with this unit is that you can, as I've mentioned in other videos, you can be completely stupid, and I'm sorry to be so blunt, and be liberal or conservative. And you can be perfectly intelligent and insightful and be liberal or conservative, okay? Many people misuse economics to support their value system. It doesn't quite work that way. It doesn't quite work that way. So in The Economist as a source is a very high quality source of economic information. They tend to be a little bit more conservative in their politics, a little bit more conservative. But I find them a highly reliable source for economics, not because they're a little more conservative, but because they fully get everything we've been going through. They understand markets, They understand Keynes. They understand how economies crash. They understand how there's a bit of uncertainty always present. Okay. The economist understands that there are liberals and conservatives who get this. There are liberals and conservatives who don't. Okay. So the Economist is a very high quality source of economic news, and they go through things, and I think in the most useful way that doesn't get what's known as a polemic. In other words, if you're pushing aside and you really don't care too much about the facts, what you would write is a polemic. That's what we don't want to do. We want to apply a theory to a situation and to understand it using that theory. And again, I really want to emphasize that the nature of this assignment is just like assignments you will encounter as you go on as a student and you study anything from biology to business law to art history. It doesn't matter. You're going to get this type of assignment. Okay. So what you should be doing right now is getting an idea of the various articles that are available. And again, they're at the bottom of the page. Let me go down there again. I'm way down here. Thank God this guy has some pants, huh? Okay. But anyway, you're going to get the early draft right here. And what you're going to be doing is taking a look over these articles. You're going to take a look over these articles right here and find one that you think is interesting. And one of the things you'll notice is that I didn't find an article that would match up nicely with Marx. Okay? And you are entirely welcome to take a different approach. I am suggesting that Smith would work with this article, that Smith would work with that one, with this one, and Keynes works with this one. I looked and looked. I did not find one that would work well, in my perspective, work well with Marx. I want to be very clear. If you think one of these would work better with Marx, you're welcome to it. Okay? It's entirely up to you. You need to match from the beginning one of the articles with one of the theories. From the beginning, you need to match one of the articles with one of the theories. Okay? I've found a number of Smith ones. It works better. Our economy is not in a collapse right now, so Marx doesn't quite click. If we were in a collapse mode, we would probably have a number of Marx articles here. Whatever. So we've got these and this one in Keynes. When you're dealing with finance, it more often, or excuse me, when you're dealing with the banking industry, and really not the industry, but with central banks, the government going in and regulating the aspect of the interest rates and things like that, you're going to be dealing with the Keynesian issues. Issues with inflation and deflation, you're going to be dealing more with Keynes. Okay, with markets, there are going to be aspects of Smith. Okay, and in these markets, you will see aspects of supply and demand overlapping for value, and the markets adjusting accordingly. Also in these articles, you will see an appearance by a government regulation this way or government regulation that way. Okay, and you'll see some resistance to it. Now, if you do understand Smith, Smith would be entirely against any type of intervention by a central government, would be for allowing the market to regulate itself. Okay, but what you're going to see is in one aspect or another, there might be some necessity for the government to step in. That it's up to you to evaluate whether or not it's working properly. Okay, and that's up to your application of that theory to see if it works properly. Okay, so get the match between the article you're interested in and the theory you think explains it best. Do not expect a perfect match between your article and your theory. You're going to be adjusting them as you go through. Okay, that's where you're going to write. In the early draft, what you're going to be doing is getting the assignment, and please make sure you use this draft sheet because it really does make a difference. Your quotation of 3 to 6 lines is going to come from Smith, Marx, or Keynes. Okay, you're going to have one theory, Smith or Marx or Keynes. All of the quotations will come from Smith, or they will all come from Marx, or they will all come from Keynes. Okay, and then describe what's going on in Smith or Marx or Keynes. And then you can bring up in here the theory being applied to the situation from The Economist, okay? Apply. You do not need to quote The Economist article. You can paraphrase what's going on with the housing market, what's going on in the banking industry in Hong Kong, or what's going on with the quantitative easing. You can summarize it right here, okay? You can refer to it and put as best you can. And then the second quotation of 3 to 6 lines should be from the same theorist that you had in the first paragraph. If you quoted Marx here, you will quote Marx here. If you quoted Smith there, Smith here. Keynes here, Keynes here. Okay? So it's the same theorist all the way through. Describe this quotation. Explain to me how you understand what Smith is writing about. I explain that here, and then apply it to the situation. If you get this early draft done, the middle draft will be a heck of a lot easier because you've already gone through it. But it's extremely important to get the article and the theory you're going to use to explain that article. Get a single article and a single theory, and you'll be on your way. Okay, guys? I will be in office hours, and I've had a couple students come in and chat with me. Please, if you need to talk to me and you can't make the 9 to 10 time, send me a note and we can work something out, okay? So again, get those two matched up and get on your way, and we'll get this done. I will give you a little bit of a heads up. We do have a science unit coming up, and we have the religious studies unit coming up, okay? What I'm going to have to do to accommodate this moving back of the due date for the economics, I will be reducing the amount of readings we're going to do in the science unit, but also in the religious studies unit, because I really want to get everybody through this semester in pretty darn good shape, okay? And you guys are doing well. One of the problems I ran into is so many people got the essays in. Almost everybody got the essays in, which was magnificent. The effort you guys are putting in this summer is astounding. You're doing a great job. It's very important for me to get you through this summer session and get you ready for the fall and moving on. So stick with it, stay stubborn, and keep up your excellent work, okay? I'll try to keep pace with you guys, do the best I can, but be a little patient with me, and I might be able to catch up. Take care, you guys.